Family planning is an important consideration in Madagascar. In Ndavadok, it is particularly important as the rapidly expanding population is putting a strain on the marine resources. In this economically deprived area, the Vezu tribe have no other appreciable sources of livelihood, so if the marine resources are overexploited, their lives will become very difficult. Curbing population growth is vital if this is to be avoided. Additionally, any outbreak of economically debilitating diseases such as HIV would greatly hamper development in an area that is already very poor. Family planning clinics can empower parents to plan sustainable-sized families while also addressing the issue of sexual health and prevention of sexually transmitted infections. For the inhabitants of Ndavadok, access to family planning resources and advice was difficult to the point of impracticality. Before Blue Ventures initiated their clinic, the nearest was in Morombe, 50 kilometers to the north, over difficult terrain. When the villagers were approached by Blue Ventures to see if there was an interest in starting clinics in the area, the response was immediately affirmative. The first family planning clinic attracted a fifth of the adult women in the village and revealed an overwhelming need for advice, resources and education. Most families have more than 5 children, many have more than 10 children, and some women came forward with up to 17 children and their families. At present, the demographics in the village indicate that more than half the village population is under the age of 15, which sets the village for a massive increase in size and subsequent increase in stress on resources. Now, 12 months after the first clinic, sufficient contraception has been dispensed to cover more than 10% of the adult women of the village for the year. A good start, but clearly this momentum needs to be maintained and more needs to be done. The family planning clinics also allow the opportunity to address sexually transmitted infections. Although the national statistics for curable diseases such as syphilis and gonorrhea are high, the prevalence of HIV is still low, at less than 2% in 2008. So a rare opportunity exists in Madagascar to prevent the HIV pandemics that are already crippling the development of much of sub-Saharan Africa. The current increase in mining and oil drilling in Madagascar is drawing labour from southern Africa where HIV is rife. The worry is that this influx of people will serve as the initiation of an HIV outbreak in a country where sex education is limited. Now is the time to act. In Ndavadok, many people were not aware of what a condom was and can only offer uninformed descriptions on how to prevent sexually transmitted infections. This must be addressed if the spread of HIV is to be prevented. With the efforts of Bexhill, it is. A dynamic approach has used the resources of Blue Ventures to highlight the prevention of sexually transmitted infections to villagers, and more than that, enthused them to become involved in the education and prevention process themselves. It started with meetings held for men, women, boys and girls, separating them to allow open discussion without disturbing the sensibilities of the village. Further exposure was offered by the international volunteers, who stand out in the local village, wearing t-shirts embroidered with sexual awareness slogans. To attract the attention of the young men and boys, a football match was held with sex education discussions beforehand.
Today is Saturday afternoon and I have invited the male members of the village to come for a presentation about STIs and family planning, and in the hope that it will raise awareness about STIs and hopefully help in changing behavioural patterns and increase the uptake of condom use in the village. And then hopefully we're going to have a football match with the volunteers and BV staff against these guys in the village, and they are going to whip us badly. I think it's fantastic.
Good result.
Match is great. I think the condom demonstration went very well. Jill Das presented it marvellously as always, and he demonstrated how to put a condom on a stick, which is great. And prior to that, there was lots of discussion about the poster. It was good. Yeah, good turnout as well.
The widest response by far, though, has been for the educational plays. First put on by the volunteers and staff of Blue Ventures, the event attracted a huge proportion of the village.
Kind of a momentous event because it's the first of its kind, and I've been building up slowly to get to this point. It's a theatre piece about using condoms. It's called The Sea of Life, and it's about a journey from Andavadoc to Nosy Howe over there. It's the journey through life, and it introduces different people from the community, like a nurse, doctor, businesswoman, prostitute, fisherman, etc., etc., pregnant lady, and they come swimming through the sea of life. And it's a metaphorical story, so the creatures are in the sea are STIs. There's chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and AIDS. And we have a narrator, Taylor, who's making it quite clear that these creatures in the sea are metaphorical and they're not actually, it's not actually representative of the creatures in the sea. So there's also Captain Capote, Captain Condom. And he'll be firing questions at the people swimming in the sea. Why do you use condoms? And they reply various different reasons why they don't use condoms. And he tries to persuade them to join the boat because there's a pirogue which is taking us through the journey of life. And yeah, so most people choose to use condoms, and there's just 2 who are left in the sea who decide they don't want to. And unfortunately for them, they don't have a long, healthy life and they don't reach it over to Nosy Howe over there. Whereas those people who joined the pirogue with Captain Capote, they made it healthy through life and they get to Nosy Howe. That's the story.
The next and most exciting step, though, was thought up by Bex as she arranged a competition for the villagers. The challenge? To put on a play to educate the viewers on sexual health and family planning. The results were a clear demonstration of how well informed the villagers now were, but even better was the response from the village, where even more people now turned out to view the event, spreading the message even further. The stage is now set to spread the word around the whole area. These plays and clinics are the best way to inform and provide resources for the people in the 26 villages within a day's sailing of Andavadoc. A tour of the area is planned, but to do this, your continued support is needed. With it, sexually transmitted infections can be curbed in this region. An HIV/AIDS outbreak can be prevented, and the population can be kept at a level that will allow these fishing people to continue to thrive without overwhelming the resources of this beautiful coastline that provides for all their needs.
Areti manduza tiveia, areti manduza tiveia.